So my name's Sam, and I'm the A-level politics lecturer at the college and in the sixth form, and I also teach on the Access to Higher Education course as a Humanities Pathway lead. So I am actually a politics specialist myself. I've got a degree in International Relations and Politics, so that puts me in a really unique position to offer such a in-depth and fantastic politics course here at the college. So my email address is listed here, and I'll also mention this at the end of this presentation as well. So what is politics then? So politics affects our daily lives all of the time in really obvious ways like the coronavirus outbreak, Brexit, but also in non-obvious ways as well. So on an academic level, this is classed as what we call political science. It's a really vast subject in its own right, and it's part of the social science family. So that includes subjects like sociology, psychology, philosophy, and this one, international relations, which is done at universities. So studying politics then is not about sitting around debating and deciding who we think the best politician is. What we actually do is study the political institutions, structures, and processes and how they interact with society. Politics is about people, not about politicians. So the activities of governments, members of lawmaking organisations, or people who try and influence the way a country is governed. That's a really good definition for what politics is. And the last bit is really important. We really look at how ordinary people interact with these institutions as well. So what does the actual A level look like then? So we can look at the AS level first. So you can see this table is split into two components, component 1 and component 2. In the first component we look at UK politics, so that's things like democracy, political parties, electoral systems and voting behaviour. So those things are things like how people interact with politics, how and why they vote, the role of the media in that, the actual systems of governance, systems of voting, and also how people interact with democracies, how they participate in democracies. And that is assessed through an hour and 45-minute exam. So we go over to component 2 then, that looks at the UK government. So we look at the structures of governance in that one. So that includes the constitution, the role and structure and principles of parliament, the same in that regard for the Prime Minister and the Executive, and then we look at the relationship between those branches. And that is also assessed through a 1 hour 45-minute exam. So if you look at the second year now, so we got UK politics, UK governance again in those two components, but we've got some additional content here. So first of all, we look at core political ideologies. So that's things like liberalism, conservatism and socialism. In component 2, we look at feminism. So we look at all of those ideologies and look at their principles, look at their key theorists and how they interact with modern day politics, for example. In component 3, we do something called comparative politics, and we look at the United States. So we look at United States politics and governments. We look at these topics listed here. So US Constitution, federalism, Congress, presidency, Supreme Court and civil rights, democracy and participation again. And then we use these sort of ideas of political comparative theories to compare the United States with the systems of governance in the United Kingdom. And we look at their similarities and differences. So what could you do your A-level politics with in the rest of your A-level programmes? So there are a number of options here that really work well with politics. There's sort of the traditional route, which looks at history, law, economics, and those humanities subjects, because we share a lot of content with them, but also we share a lot of content with social science subjects, for example, sociology, psychology, and philosophy. But in its own right, it works very well with any A-levels. It's a highly respected A-level by universities, no matter what the subject matter is. So if we look at some future careers then, so obviously this is a good transition to university. A-level politics really does equip students well for any degree, but especially those humanities and social science subjects. Many people go on to study degrees in sociology, law, international relations, and public policy, just to name a few. So there's really a lot of degrees out there that go really well with the subject matter of A-level politics, and also the study skills will equip you with. So we look at some careers then. So there's the obvious ones like governance and public policy, but also things like teaching, social work, charities, but also businesses as well. Particularly at the moment, businesses want to hear from people who are politically minded because of the current situation. They need people to understand it. So thank you for watching this PowerPoint. I hope it's been informative. If you do have any questions, please send me an email at this email address. So that's samuel.hall@sgscole.ac.uk. Thank you very much for listening and enjoy the rest of your open day.